Hello. Today's presentation is entitled Judge and Jury, all about line judges. Today's presentation was written by Robert Finn, a very good volleyball official, a very good national line judge, and an even better person. Today's presentation will be narrated by Mr. Damon Walker. On the docket for today's presentation of Judge and Jury, uniform, arrival times, warm-ups, start of the match, flag mechanics, timeouts, and between sets. Let's look at the first component of judge and jury, uniform. The first component of judge and jury, we're going to talk about uniform. So be honest and accept yourself, but don't accept being less than who you really are. A professional. Your dress matters. Wear the proper size and best fitting clothing. You may have the right size, but not fit. Shirts. Your sleeves should stop along your bicep or above your elbow for short sleeve or at the base of your palm for long sleeve. Once the shirt or logo fades or peel, small beads of material, purchase a new one. Stains are never acceptable. Pants. For some pleated and others flat front depending on your build. The pants legs should break just about the top of the shoe. Ensure they're flexible in the knee and seat for moving during the match. Dark blue. If we can tell your pants are a shade of blue from afar, you have the wrong shade. Belts. Black or dark blue. Leather gives a more defined image, yet fabric woven is acceptable and tends to maintain its shape under the stress of the belt loop. Shoes and socks. All white, not off-white, white. As they say, the shoes make the uniform. Add insoles or arch supports for additional comfort. Baggy items can give the appearance of a lack of preparation and personal care. Items can be taken to a local tailor or cleaners that provide alterations for a proper fit. Remember, your uniform is one of your first impressions as a line judge. Make your first impression a great impression. The second component of a judge and jury are arrival times. The second component of judge and jury is arrival times. In collegiate matches, it is expected that you arrive to the facility 60 minutes prior to the start of match time. In high school matches, the minimum standard is 30 minutes prior to the start of match time. For club volleyball, I would adhere to that high school standard, and for both club and high school volleyball, I would even recommend 45 to 60 minutes prior to the start of match time. For collegiate volleyball, it is a standard that your attire be business casual to business professional. High school and club volleyball, you can adhere to the same standard, but there are times that member and state associations allow flexibility for you to come in uniform. With that being said, I highly discourage slides and sandals. If you are going to come to the facility in uniform, I would recommend comfortable shoes. Remember, coaches, players, fans, directors, athletic directors, as well as tournament directors and administrators are still watching you, and nothing beats a good first impression. Our early arrival times are a great first impression. They are professional. They allow us to have a thorough pregame together as a crew, and they also give us time to get to know one another personally and professionally if we have never worked together or do not know each other. Let's discuss arrival times on the volleyball court. In collegiate matches, there is a pre-match conference with the team representatives at the 30-minute mark. The first and second referees obviously will be on the court prior to that pre-match conference as they have responsibilities. Sometimes the line judges will go with the first and second referees to the court together as an entire crew. That is perfectly acceptable. Sometimes line judges will go together as a team to the court after the pre-match conference with the player representatives has concluded. That is also perfectly acceptable. The key to that is that the line judges go to the court together as a team. In high school and club volleyball, it is recommended that the line judges go either together with the first and second referee to the court together as an entire crew, or similarly to collegiate volleyball, the line judges go to the court together as a team following the pre-match conference. I would discuss that with your first and second referee to see what is their particular preference for your arrival time onto the court. Remember, as with the uniform, we have one opportunity to make a good first impression.
The third component of judge and jury is warm-ups.
The third component of judge and jury is the match warm-up. You and your partner line judges are now to the court. There is a designated area for the line judges to congregate and or sit. Usually this is somewhere behind the scorer's table if there is appropriate room for you. At some point after the pre-match conference, the first referee will have a separate pre-match conference with both line judges. It is imperative that both line judges listen attentively during the first referee's pre-match. Have a set of prepared questions to ensure what is expected from each of you. For example, should both line judges come to the stand if one is called to discuss a play? Do you want to touch end signal on attacks near the end line? This is not the time nor the place for you to show up the other line judge or to try to impress everyone with your expertise as a line judge, a first referee, or a second referee. You are serving in a very important capacity as a line judge. It's important for you to be the best teammate that you can possibly be. During the warm-ups, you as a line judge will view the court as though the match were taking place. In collegiate volleyball, it is a good and observed practice that there will be a point during the team's warm-ups where each team has exclusive use of the entire court, where both line judges will go to their assigned positions and they will view the court again as though the match was taking place. They will spend a specified amount of time while one team is warming up, and they will spend the equivalent amount of time on the court while the other team is warming up. So, for example, if you spend 4 minutes watching teams A's warm up, you will also spend 4 minutes watching team B's warm up. And that's usually the standard. Some of the things that you can pay attention to during the warm ups are notice how close the setter can get the ball towards the net. This may help you gauge the amount of time needed to get to the hitter and then to the blocker. What is the speed of the ball after contact? Are there any light reflections from the court or above? Are there multiple lines to consider near the end or sidelines? Does the antenna seem to blur against the opposite wall? We should practice blocking the balls to come near your head and down to your waist. This projects strength, confidence, and presence. We encourage line judges to observe this practice because it gives your eyes a chance to see the volleyball, see it hit the court, see it hit the floor, See it hit the end lines, the sidelines, the antennas, the net. And so your first call of the match is actually during these warm-ups. So when the actual match begins, your eyes and your mind are comfortable so that you can do the very best job that you can.
The fourth component of judge and jury is start of the match.
The fourth component of judge and jury is the start of the match. It should be stated that the procedures that we are about to outline also apply for the start of each set. Both line judges have a position that they must observe while the second referee is checking the lineups for each team. Both line judges are to remain 10 feet from the end line and sideline extended. The volleyball shall be held in your left hand against your hip. The flag should remain rolled up until the R2 tosses the ball to the server. Once the second referee tosses the ball to the server, you as the line judge will toss your ball to the ball shagger. Before the serve, your hips should face the first referee stand if you're line judge 2, or the R2 if you're line judge 1. You should stand in a ready position to advance down the sideline or end line. For some, this would mean a slight bend of the knees and leaning forward for others. Feet should be shoulder width apart and one leg extended behind the other in a normal looking stance. Again, it should be stated that these procedures are to be observed not only prior to the start of the match, prior to the start of each set, and the positions before each serve, and the ready positions are to be observed for every serve and every rally.
The fifth component of judge and jury is flag mechanics.
The fifth component of judge and jury is flag mechanics. We are going to outline the recommended mechanics when using your flags during the match. For down calls, the flag should be pointed at a 45-degree angle toward the center of the court.
Talked about the early season. He said in the spring we were learning what system we wanted to play. Now we're learning how to win matches. And it's been working pretty well lately.
Yeah, he said the growth of this team has really come in there.
For out calls, the arm should be totally extended above the head.
But you see the ability of her creating that tempo as well.
17-10 is the lead. Again, keeping it on Lukes. That ball just missed out of bounds.
25 wins in San Diego. And
For touch calls, the forearm and hand completely straight at a 90-degree angle as you touch the top of the flag, which is below your chin. Never snatch the flag back to your body after making a call. When you do this action, you're really trying to sell the call to yourself. Each flag call does not need to be snapped. The snapping of the flag can be used on close calls. For example, a pancake in which you came down the line, stopped, and signaled. When the ball is attacked and clearly sails outside the boundary lines, the snapping is not needed for obvious result. There's nothing to prove. Conversely, if the ball is attacked and sails outside of the boundary line, just missing the sideline or the end line, this could be the case where a flag call being snapped is warranted.
Good play by Kip to dive in for first contact. That was really good.
The sixth component of judge and jury is timeouts.
The sixth component of judge and jury is timeouts. We should note that the timeout position for line judges for USAV and perhaps NCAA men that normally observes USAV rules will differ from the timeout position for NCAA women and National Federation High School. The timeout position for USAV and any rule sets observing USAV rules is that both line judges will proceed to the midpoint of each line judge's end line. The line judges will roll their flags as they proceed to the timeout position. The line judges will agree pre-match that the flags will be held in the front or the back. Because timeouts in USAV do not have a warning whistle, both line judges will return to their normal positions when both teams have returned to the court and or at the conclusion of the timeout. For National Federation High School rules and NCAA women, line judge 2 will walk down the end line. Line judge 1 will wait until line judge 2 has completely cleared the entire end line. And then both line judges together will walk down the sideline of line judge 1, will go to the attack line extended, and will straddle the second hash mark. Again, similar to what we have already discussed, they will roll their flags on the way to their timeout positions, and they will agree to hold the flags in the front or the back. When 15 seconds remain in the timeout, both line judges will return to their line judge positions. In this case, line judge 1 does not have to wait on line judge 2 to get to the intersection of the inline or sideline. However, if both teams have returned to the court prior to the 15-second mark left in the timeout, both line judges may return to their line judge positions.
The seventh component of judge and jury is between sets.
The seventh component of judge and jury is between sets. When a set has been completed, both line judges will proceed to the timeout positions. During the movement to the timeout positions, if ball shaggers are present in the match, the line judges will gather the balls from both ball shaggers as well as the game ball. Once both teams have returned to their respective benches, both line judges will verbally or non-verbally communicate to each other they are ready. They will walk down the attack line and place the game ball and additional game balls on the scorer's table, as well as their flags on the scorer's table rolled up. The line judges will then proceed to their designated spot behind the scorer's table or wherever their designated area may be, preferably away from spectators. With 1 minute to go in the warm-up, both line judges will retrieve their flags, retrieve one of the game balls, and return to their pre-match, i.e. preset positions. Please note, if the teams are in the way of you going back to your preset pre-match positions, please go outside the teams, outside their benches if possible. If your match observes USAV rules and mechanics, again, both line judges will go to their timeout positions at the conclusion of the set. Remember, for USAV, the timeout positions is the midpoint of the end lines for each line judge. Once the teams have returned to their respective benches, both line judges may proceed down their end line, then down the sideline of line judge 2, and go to their designated area should a designated area be provided for them. When there is 1 minute remaining, both line judges will retrieve their flags and game balls if ball shaggers are present, and once again, they will return to their pre-match line judge positions.
Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We appreciate you taking the time to view this wonderful and invaluable presentation of Judge and Jury, all about line judges. We want to give a shout out to Mr. Robert Finn, who wrote this outstanding presentation. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great season.